Beautiful, and welcome back to the well as we discover our gifts together. And some of them you already really know well, but maybe you haven't shared them a lot. And I think that this is one of the most exciting things about this month, because it's sacred to open up that space that we've probably kept hidden. At least that was my biggest deal with my gifts for my whole life. So let's huddle in together here in this liminal space of the watery well. And let's just deepen our breath and just move into a space of like collective oneness, and how that makes our own energy bigger and more beautiful. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Well, it's a lot of responsibility to be a woman who knows things. When you agree, I think that sometimes it holds us back from knowing what to say, especially those of us who see a lot and feel a lot. And we don't really want to point it out. So we can come across as quiet. Believe it or not, I was just always really shy. I have my friends from college visiting, and I was so deeply gifted, young, and a lot of things were happening. I had a lot of experiences with people who had committed suicide coming into my life at that time. So I'm just going to guess that I've always felt that I've seen a lot of my past lives. And for those who have lost people to suicide, I can tell you that those of us who have committed suicide, we make it through. We make it to our next phases, but it can take some time. And I think for the most part, from what I've seen, a lot of the people who have passed in this way, it seems like they're moving quicker. Like there is like a knowing that is very trusted that this was their path, right? But and it might just be me seeing it different, because I had gone less far on my path when I was 18 in this regard, and had a lot of my own loss that way. But there's just so much when we're dealing with the grief of loss, or being a medium, or having liminal experiences with people who've passed, that it can make us apprehensive, about what we see, because we don't want to hurt people more from what we know. And then also it can be a little confusing to know what you're seeing, or hearing, or imagining. And I was noticing in your shares that there's quite a few of you who are having these experiences with people who've passed. And so I don't think we talk about it in our earlier years, or you can even be in your later years but not have had the chance or the opportunities with the way that our families are set up, or how people around us view that gift that makes us feel safe in speaking to the other side. It was really interesting. I was walking up the hill today, and it was so interesting. I mean, I can't even explain how interesting this is. I saw this huge mermaid in the sky. She even had a tail, a fishtail, and it was exactly a mermaid. Like she had a body with arms in the front and little fish clouds. And she had like, my hair can be big. Sometimes it can be like flat, but sometimes it has a lot of body. And her hair was really big, but just arranged, very feminine. And then her hands were reaching out. There were these little fish clouds that literally looked like fish. Like some of them even had little spiked, bitails. And then there was this being and I could not tell what it was. It either looked like a gray, so it might have been like what looked like a gray alien, which I'm not, I have a little fear about that. But it looked like it had big eyes, a weird head, small chin. But it also looked like how people describe when they have a near-death experience, and then they have like their light beings. And it kind of almost looked like a genie too. But it definitely had arms, and it was like bigger than the mermaid, which was already huge. But these were very definite clouds. And I do see definite clouds sometimes, but this was extraordinary. It was today. And even the cloud that looked like an ethereal being or an alien, it even had perforated, like mottled tone to it. Like it was like a chemtrail that turned into a cloud. And at first it kind of looked scary. And then I thought, nothing in this plane has to look scary. We have the power to turn anything scary into light. And it was weird because as I saw this beautiful mermaid with her arms out, I thought, this is kind of like us right now on the planet, where there's a spiritual battle going on. There's a lot happening, and we have to be the transformers, right? And so I just looked at this larger cloud and I thought, we would see those features as like reptilian, right? Like weird eyes, slanted eyes, small mouth. But all of a sudden I just let it be like this big, beautiful being of light. And I said, that's all that's allowed in my realm. And all of a sudden the feeling in my body changed. Because I didn't feel worried for the mermaid cloud. I saw her as me, just saying, well, you've always dealt with the realms. Like, you're protected. But I saw the mermaid as a protector for this realm. And you're a protector for this realm. And why I was talking about the medium stuff is because when you talk like a medium to other beings or other souls that have lived here, you're opening up to a realm of souls that have passed, but also the step beyond that is kind of the other beings. So I want to explore with you some questions. Have you ever had experiences when you thought someone was going to die and they did? And could you share that story? Have you ever been at a funeral? This happens to me a lot. Have you ever been at a funeral and you can see, feel, or imagine, even if you can't see them, you can hear where they are, see where they are at their own funeral? And have you ever heard them talking to you at their funeral? It doesn't have to be at a funeral. It could be at a passing. It could be walking into the room after they passed. You know, when Connie passed, my roommate was really close to her. And she came to him right before she died. And he knew that she was going to die that day, that night. So what I'm thinking is that let's open up the dialogue about our instincts on the other side. If you don't have this part of your gift opened up, your homework is to look up NDEs. And if you just put NDEs in the search box on YouTube, it's going to mean near-death experience. And I want you to just listen to different people's viewpoints on what happens to them after they die. And I think it should be a thing this week, like to try to get in a few or make it, I think in the next couple months, it really helps you to understand what I'm going to be talking about. Like when I get lonely on this earth and there's not a lot of people like me, I actually used to listen to NDEs. I wouldn't watch TV. I'd listen to NDEs because it was the closest thing to, like, they'd see beings, they'd see rays of light, they'd, talk to Creator, they would see, a goddess, a woman, Mother Goddess, Christ, Buddha, sometimes people from their families. It's like just start to see what you feel for yourself. Like, does this terrify you? Are you curious, but you haven't had anybody to talk to about it? I can really help you to make this less scary. And also, if you do have scary experiences, I can help you to heal them. So, talk to me, talk to us. And it's easiest for me if you get on video, or if I have a picture too. I've been noticing that's like been really helpful to me, and I'll do that to you too if that's easy. I just wasn't sure if you wanted uploads and then you have to listen to a video too. So I'm trying to be respectful of the time that you spend, but I also want you to feel like you have a lot of freedom, to, spend your downtime where you're resting and trying to feel who you're becoming, have, some good fodder. So I hope you love this. I want to open up the conversation about the other side. Any ghost stories? I can tell you lots of ghost stories if anyone wants to hear them. I have a lot. In fact, I've forgotten most of them, but I have a lot of them. And what do you most want to hear about? We've had people who've lost to suicide in this precious group, Tammy and Ellie. But we also, in our retreats, we've had that. And in my work, I have a lot of that. So I have a lot of experience with that. And I just think that's such a precious path, because I've, in my religion, they would always say a certain thing about what, people from suicide. This is younger me, not older me. I know this isn't the dogma of the church, but when you get raised feeling this way, they told us, that people who passed from suicide didn't go to heaven. And I would tell my parents that's absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. And they believed me. And I was able to help a lot of people realize the church had no clue. And it's really fascinating, because a lot of the people that I know who've passed with suicide are some of the most powerful people that I've known in life. And some of them I met after they died. I found them, still in a room, and they would talk to me, or, but always, it's quite a journey, and it's quite a journey that I've had in my past life. So I feel very protective and strong about it. And I don't know if Tammy's listening to this, how much how much I actually know about this. It's been a really big part of my life. So I guess want to just say that they've been some of the most communicative souls that I've encountered in my mediumship, and honestly, some of the most powerful by far. So I'm wondering if you almost have to be a super powerful soul to even think about that as a life path, right? So all of this is coming up today. I'm not sure why. It wasn't expected, so I must be downloading on some feelings that are passing around somewhere in the ether with our collective, and some of my own healing too, because I have lost my life to suicide, and I know those lives, and I know why I did it, and it's completely reasonable to me. I understand why somebody would do that. So I think it's definitely a self-forgiving heart that we want to have, a lot of self-compassion, a lot of curiosity about what it means to talk to the souls on the other side. Some of the most communicative have been the ones that have passed via suicide. So that's been some of my strongest mediumship appointments or sessions. And I think that there's something in common with that and people with near-death experiences. They're just very available. So I'm not really sure where this is going. Maybe some of you will tell me why I brought it up today, but it just seemed very important, and I want to open up the conversation. So let me know what you think, and let's be curious together and loving and compassionate for everything that this brings up. It could bring up a lot of past stuff, or you might figure out you've committed suicide, or taken your life. I'm not sure, I might be old on the language. So Tammy, please correct me if I am. But I'm just using what comes through the download, upload part of me, and the language that I know to speak. So anywho, I'm interested and curious about where this is going and what will come of it. So please share, and I can't wait to see you in the well.